This is from Flora via email. If as a member of SAG-AFTRA I have the same professional name, what happens?
Well, that's a great question as well, Flora. If you, as you probably know, Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA already have processes in place to deal with name duplication. And since, of course, a lot of the members who are members of SAG or AFTRA are already members of both, that name duplication issue has already been taken care of for most people. But after the effective date in the new union, the existing policies of both unions as to name duplication will continue on, and any discrepancies between those will be dealt with by the initial executive committee. So for people who already have a professional name in one or both unions, that will continue to be their professional name until some other decision is made in the future.
Thank you, Duncan.
This is from Anonymous. We all know Anonymous. Anyway, what will the percentages be in the new union of actors, broadcasters, and recording artists? Kim? Kim, can you all right, the question is, what will the percentages be in the new union of actors, broadcasters, and recording artists?
Okay, that's a good question. I think that we will be able to determine that more closely once we get to the new union and we do the full final census after the new union comes into being. However, if you look at the memberships of the two unions now, and particularly looking at how AFTRA is structured, combined with Screen Actors Guild, probably 90% or 92% of the members of the new union will be in the category of actors, and the remaining 8% will be split between broadcasters and sound recording artists.
All right, next
Could somebody
up.
say that again?
Yes, say that one more time, Kim, because good for you. Go on, Kim.
We believe approximately 90 to 92% of the members of the new union will fall into the category that is now considered actors. Recording artists and broadcasters will probably fall somewhere between in that 8%. How that would be divided up, I don't have that answer now, but it's somewhere between 4 and 5% each.
Great. All right, next question. Sorry. If I'm a member of SAG and AFTRA, my wife, who was active in AFTRA, is in good standing but has been on leave for 10 years. Could she retain her inactive status in the new union, or would she need to activate her status prior to the merger? She has no intention of becoming active anytime soon. This is from Wiley via email. Amy, that's for you.
Okay. If you are inactive in one union, in either one of the unions, you will continue to be an inactive member of SAG-AFTRA. You won't be forced to, you won't have to activate your membership in order to become a member of the new union. You'll simply continue as an inactive member of SAG-AFTRA. Yeah, and then if you want to work, just as in the two unions now, if you want to work, then you're going to have to become current.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
This is from Jamie. Is there any truth to the notion that terms of the merger are subject to approval of our employers? Let me say that one more time from Jamie. Is there any truth to the notion that terms of the merger are subject to approval of our employers? Ned?
No, absolutely not. The terms of the merger agreement are right there in black and white in the booklet that you were shipped as part of your ballot package. It's also online, and those are the terms, and our employers had absolutely nothing to do with creating those terms. That's what we spent better part of 7 months coming up with, and that's what it's going to be.
And believe me, the employers don't like the terms. That's why we are creating them, so we can have one new union. Rebecca?
Thanks, Gabby. This next one is for Duncan. What is the status of the lawsuit that has been filed in federal court for those of us who are trying to block the merger of the unions? What is being done to deal with it? This is from Michael, and it doesn't say from where.
Okay, thanks. Well, first of all, the status of the lawsuit's pending. What's being done to deal with the lawsuit is earlier this week, lawyers for Screen Actors Guild and the individually named defendants filed a motion to dismiss all of the counts that are part of the lawsuit, as well as something called a special motion to strike, which is also known as an anti-SLAPP motion. Both of these motions are intended to cause this lawsuit to be dismissed. The lawsuit that was originally filed in such a way that there was no hearing scheduled or anything that was going to happen on the lawsuit until the end of March to begin with. So the lawsuit is continuing on in that way. I would mention that, just to keep you fully updated, one of the original counts of the lawsuit has been dismissed. A new count has been added. So there's been quite a lot of activity in terms of filings and papers going back and forth over the past week. The bottom line, though, is we remain extremely confident that this lawsuit is not going to interfere with carrying out this merger referendum. The ballots went out to the memberships of both SAG and AFTRA on Monday uninterrupted, and the ballots will be returning, of course, on March 30th and tabulating that day. So we're extremely confident that the claims in this lawsuit are without merit and that the court is not going to take any action that will interfere with the process of reaching a decision that's reached by the memberships of these two unions on the scheduled date.
Thank you, Duncan.
Democracy reigns. Okay. Will broadcasters who do not work under actors' contracts have a vote and a strike authorization on actors' contracts? This is from David, and I'd like to give that to Roberta. Do you need me to read it one more time, or is it okay?
So broadcasters who are not working under an entertainment contract, would they be able to vote on a strike under the entertainment contract? Currently, both unions have in their constitutions language that talks about those things being voted on by the members affected thereby. Both unions interpret those terms. We have not set any policy about how members are going to vote on contracts or on strikes. Right now in AFTRA, in a national strike, it is done by the national membership, but it's it could easily be determined that it would be effective member voting. We just haven't come up with that policy yet. It's up to the new national board, frankly.
Next question. This is for David. This is from Kate West via email. Hello, I'm a member of SAG and AFTRA, and I'm currently drawing my SAG retirement, but not AFTRA. Will my SAG retirement be affected by this merger? Thank you, Kate.
Kate, great question. I believe your SAG pension will be further protected with this merger because you protect the union whose contracts underlie the pension and health plans. As a legal matter, your pension is protected, period. It's protected by federal law. It will be unaffected by the merger of the unions. But the argument that the leadership is making is that in order to protect your vested rights in the SAG pension and health plan, and frankly for those members who are on the phone who may have also accrued some credits in the AFTRA plans, that by merging these unions, we strengthen our ability to keep those plans healthy and strong.
Thank you. This is, let me give it to you, Holter. I heard the merger will only create more union workers for the same amount of union jobs. Why is merger good when there won't be more work?
I'll start at the back end of that and work towards the beginning of it. There will be more work, as a lot of different people have addressed in different answers, because this is an integral part of why we're trying to merge and create one union. We will be able to organize more work, to control the workforce doing more work, and therefore we will open up the opportunities for members to have more work. Now, frankly, my personal take on things is if you wanted to do something for a living that didn't involve competition, you wouldn't have signed on to do this for a living. There is an understanding that we compete for all of the work we do, every single one of us at every level. But that question is addressing a concern that somehow we're creating a smaller work opportunity and yet more people. And frankly, it's exactly the opposite. We are all under one umbrella and we speak with one strong voice. And the first thing we do when negotiating contracts that are currently expiring or when seeking to control jurisdiction in new areas that we may not have already is to create more work opportunities for every single one of us and have every dime we earn under those opportunities go towards helping us earn a living and feed our families and pay our rents and mortgages and buy heavy metal t-shirts.
Awesome. Okay.
Next one for Amy. Will people who have a single membership right now in either union have to pay any additional fees after the merger takes place? This is from Joseph via email.
No, if you are paid up member in either union, you are a paid up member of SAG-AFTRA. If you owe any money to either union, but you are a member and not in good standing, you'll be a member not in good standing of SAG-AFTRA. In order to work, in order to be cleared for work, you're going to have to pay whatever you owe, but you're not going to have to be paying anything extra in order to join the union. If you are a member of either one, then you will be a member of SAG-AFTRA.
Thank you. This is from Stephanie. What will happen to the affiliation with AFL-CIO that AFTRA currently holds? Is SAG affiliated with AFL-CIO currently? David?
SAG is affiliated with the AFL-CIO through an organization known as the 4A's, which is the Association of American Artistes of something with an A. We've been associated with the 4A's along with AFTRA and with Equity and with a number of other performers unions for many decades. Recently, as many people know, AFTRA affiliated directly with the AFL-CIO, and it is an express intention that SAG-AFTRA, after we merge, affiliate directly with the AFL-CIO.
Thank you.
Gabby, would you like me to just add in one or two things, if I may? Associated Actors and Artists of America. There you go. And also, when you get your material, if you look at the merger agreement, Article 15, Section B provides the specific requirement that the unions take steps immediately after the effective date to ensure that the charter that AFTRA has with the AFL-CIO is granted to the new organization, and also to take steps to ensure that the current membership of both AFTRA and Screen Actors Guild in the 4A's succeeds to the new organization. And members can read that in Article 15, Section B of the merger agreement.
Kim.
Okay. Next question, Roberta. This is from Tom via email. I've been a member of SAG since the early 1980s, joined in Boston. Will this merger also give me automatic membership in AFTRA?
Okay, once again, and I know this, it's confusing because the new union's name is SAG-AFTRA. So I think part of what happens is because we've hyphenated the name, sometimes people are thinking that the two unions continue in the new organization. The two new unions do not continue in the new organization. We have a new union called SAG-AFTRA. And if you are a paid-up member in one of the unions in good standing, you are automatically a member of SAG-AFTRA. You don't have to pay any additional fees. You're in. Again, don't be fooled by the hyphen in the name. It really is one new union.
Thanks, Roberta.
This is from Frosty in New Jersey. Will the new union members be allowed to be classified under more than one group? That would be category, i.e. actors and sound recorders. Do you want to answer that, Ned?
Sure. Just before I get to that, I wanted to amplify slightly, and it's actually touches on this because I saw a little confusion in this room from Roberta's earlier answer about effective member voting. Just to make it clear that while the board has not set a policy about which members will be affected by which contracts, it is part of the SAG-AFTRA Constitution that affected member voting will apply. And so something that's an important consideration there is that in SAG and AFTRA, as separate unions, we negotiated our major contracts under a bargaining arrangement called Phase 1 that required that all the members of both unions ratify those Phase 1 negotiated agreements. That meant that members who frankly didn't work those contracts were often given the opportunity to vote on them. In SAG-AFTRA, we will not have Phase 1 because we will be only one union, and therefore I think there's going to be a strong impulse to apply a much more narrow definition of effective member voting, because obviously folks who are working in a broadcast station somewhere outside of Los Angeles don't want 92% of the union, all the actors, to come and vote on their contracts, and likewise actors don't want broadcasters or recording artists to have the determinative outcome on their contracts. So the board will set the policies, but that ability is in place. So to this question about categories of members, right now, just as in AFTRA, every member will self-assign a category. When you join the union, or as you come into this union, you will need to claim a category. The fact that you are claiming to be a member of a category, I obviously will be an actor, doesn't prohibit you in any way from doing any of the work that the union covers. So you may do work that a voice announcer, which is another category in AFTRA. I'm an actor, but I also do VO work. I could do stunt performer work if I were crazy enough to try that.
It's like singers do.
Exactly.
They're under the
so it doesn't constrain your ability to do all the work the union covers. It simply is a way for us to organize the membership, which is essential for governance.
So specifically, so thank you for that. To just clarify in terms of your question, though, you will only be able to go and put yourself in one category, but you're allowed to do different work, and that's what's important.
Any of the work.
And there is a time. And Kim, can you just give that the time if people want to change their category, they're able to do that?
Well, the current situation in AFTRA is that people are able to declare their category once a year. However, in the new union, the new national board will have to set what the policy is for how members will declare that, and that has not yet been determined, but that will be one of the policy issues that the initial national board and initial executive committee will have to take up.
Thank you. This will be our last question, Rebecca, because we're almost out of time.
All right, then. This question is then from Chaz in Denver. How will merger affect programs like SAG's iActor? Somebody in Hollywood.
The way it will affect programs like iActor and every other program, conservatory, and all of the various symposiums and other member services that we provide, is it's going to help us continue to provide them. Because like every other thing, it owes to bargaining strength. Look, the unions don't print money. It would be lovely if we could. Our money, our financial well-being, our health comes from two things primarily. The energy of our members, who, you can't do it without the members. We are the union, after all. But in order to make it fly, to have the buildings we do our business in, to have programs like iActor, to have programs like Conservatory and the Film Society and every other thing, those have to be funded. And the way they're funded is by the dues that we pay as members. And our dues are based on our earnings, and our earnings are based on the contracts that we negotiate. And if those contracts provide higher wages, higher residuals, better working conditions, better pension and health benefits, we can do all of it so much better. And if we don't have bargaining strength, if we remain separate and we allow ourselves to be put in the position where the unions and we as members can be pitted against one another, then we lose our ability to do that. We lose our funding, and things have to be cut, and that's not a place any of us wants to be. We want to go forward into the future with strength. And the way you go forward to the future with strength is you go into the future with unity. You go into the future as one union. That's how it's done, folks. And that's why you should vote yes for this.
Thank you. Now, yay. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Go to SAG-AFTRA.org if you have any questions. Remember, ballots are landing today or tomorrow. Vote. Make sure to make your voice heard. Yes for merger. Move forward into the new future. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Kim, can you...
Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
the question is, what will the percentages be in the new union of actors, broadcasters, and recording artists?
Okay, that's a good question. I think that we will be able to determine that more closely once we get to the new union and we do the full final census after the new union comes into being. However, if you look at the memberships of the two unions now, and particularly looking at how AFTRA is structured, combined with Screen Actors Guild, probably 90% or 92% of the members of the new union, 5% each.
Thank you,
Great.
Kim.
All right, next question. Sorry. If I'm a member of SAG and AFTRA, my wife, who was active in AFTRA, is in good standing but has been on leave for 10 years. Could she retain her inactive status in the new union, or would she need to activate her status prior to the merger? She has no intention of becoming active anytime soon. This is from Wiley via email. Amy, that's for you.
Okay. If you are inactive in one union, in either one of the unions,
In the new union, the existing policies of both unions as to name duplication will continue on, and any discrepancies between those will be dealt with by the initial executive committee. So for people who already have a professional name in one or both unions, that will continue to be their professional name until some other decision is made in the future.
Thank you, Duncan.
This is from Anonymous. We all know Anonymous. Anyway, what will the percentages be in the new union of actors, broadcasters, and recording artists? Kim?
Will be in the category of actors, and the remaining 8% will be split between broadcasters and sound recording artists.
All right,
Could
next
somebody
up.
say that again?
Yes. Say that one more time, Kim, because good for you. Go on, Kim.
We believe approximately 90 to 92% of the members of the new union will fall into the category that is now considered actors. Recording artists and broadcasters will probably fall somewhere between in that 8%. How that would be divided up, I don't have that answer now, but it's somewhere between 4 and
This is from Flora via email. If as a member of SAG and AFTRA I have the same professional name, what happens?
Well, that's a great question as well, Flora. If you, as you probably know, Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA already have processes in place to deal with name duplication. And since, of course, a lot of the members who are members of SAG or AFTRA are already members of both, that name duplication issue has already been taken care of for most people. But after the effective